For the first time since committing, Arch Manning opens up about his commitment to Texas, plus the latest coaching changes from around the country. All that and more on today's episode of 4th and 10. 4 college football stories in just around 10 minutes. Now, let's go for it. Before we get to today's video, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are that you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel, so make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. With signing day a week away, Texas commit and the #1 recruit of the 2023 class, Arch Manning, finally opened up about his decision to commit to Texas. He spoke with 24/7 Sports, going really in depth of his decision to commit to the Longhorns, and what we can expect from the highly touted quarterback once he arrives to Austin. I think the great tradition and fan base and everything about Texas football excited me. I'm glad I can one day be part of it. It looks like Manning is actually doing some recruiting of his own, trying to help Texas improve the recruiting class before next week. In the article, he said that he's trying to get 4-star wide receiver DeAndre Moore. He also said he's working on 5-star tight end Deuce Robinson and 5-star linebacker Anthony Hill. As of right now, Moore is committed to Louisville, but both Robinson and Hill have yet to commit. Manning took several visits to all of his finalists back during the recruiting process, and Texas got the last official visit at the end of June. I really enjoyed Austin as a city itself. I like the coaches, and I got along with my host and current players there, and I feel we can build something special in the next few years, and I have a lot of trust in Coach Sark. I also like my signing class a lot. I think we're going to finish out well and have a good class. Steve Sarkisian was leading the way in recruiting Manning, along with area recruiter Terry Joseph and quarterbacks coach AJ Milwee. Obviously, Coach Sark has a rich history. He's developed a lot of good players and been on some good teams. I think they've gotten better this year, and they're going to keep getting better, and I'm excited to be part of it. We stayed in communication the whole time. I trusted them the whole time. 5-7, 8-4, it didn't matter. I'm there to hopefully build something special, and I felt that way the whole time. I'm ready to get to Austin. Texas finished the regular season 8-4, featuring some impressive victories and a near upset over Alabama at home. Although Manning is the #1 recruit in his class, he likely won't be seeing the field much in 2023. Quinn Ewers, who was also the top quarterback of his class, will likely be back as the starting quarterback for Texas, barring another program offering him a ton of NIL money. So it'll likely be some time before we see Manning as the starting quarterback for the Longhorns. Speaking of #1 recruits, Alabama just landed the #1 edge rusher and #6 overall recruit of the 2023 class. Keon Keeley announced his commitment to Alabama on Monday, choosing the Tide over his other finalists in Ohio State and Florida. He was originally committed to Notre Dame, but reopened his process back in August. Here's what he said to 24/7 Sports. "I loved Alabama. I love the tradition. I love the coaching staff, and I feel it's a great opportunity to play under Coach Nick Saban, and I really love the program. I like the locker room and the want to be great and be pushed by the best every single day. I'm excited to get pushed by the best. I'm really excited. Just the relationship I had with the coaching staff and players, it's a rare opportunity." During his time at Berkeley Prep in Tampa, Keeley racked up 133 tackles with 64.5 tackles for loss, 37 sacks, and 36 quarterback hurries. This is the 25th commit for Alabama, who at the moment has the #1 recruiting class for 2023. Of those 25, 24 of them are at least 4-star recruits rated by 24/7 Sports. Moving on to coaching news, as we've had quite a bit over the last few days. The most shocking was Navy firing head coach Ken Niumatalolo following their loss against Army. As if that news wasn't surprising, wait until you hear about how he was laid off. According to Niumatalolo, he was sitting by himself at his locker following the double overtime loss on Saturday, when athletic director Chet Gladchuk walked in and fired him. Here's what he said to ESPN. "First of all, we just got kicked in the gut. I was a little bit numb prior to him saying that, so most of it I couldn't comprehend. I'm just like, Chet, why didn't you take some time to relax? He said, well, it's been building up. Niumatalolo has been the head coach of Navy since 2008. Being the coach there for 15 seasons, he was one of the longest tenured coaches in all of the FBS. He is the winningest coach in Navy program history, winning 109 games. Navy had a winning record in 10 of his first 12 seasons, but they've got a combined 11-23 over the last 3 years. Navy finished the 2022 campaign with a 4-8 record. The second straight season, they've gone 4-8. Navy defeated Army 14 straight times from 2002 through 2015. However, Army has now won 5 of the last 7 matchups. According to the ESPN article, Niumatalolo and Gladchuk shared 2 vastly different perspectives on a coaching change at a program that isn't trying to reach the college football playoff, but annually capture the nation's attention with the pageantry and tradition of the Army-Navy game. Niumatalolo earned a reputation for graduating his players, his honest approach, and avoiding NCAA infractions. And while Gladchuk praised him for the lasting impact he had on Navy, he said the goals are winning the Commander-in-Chief's trophy and earning bowl eligibility. Here's what Gladchuk said following the news. That's been the constant bar we strive for, is to achieve those 2 goals, which I believe are very realistic, very reasonable, and have been consistent for 20 years. And therefore, this has not come as any surprise. It's just an expectation that unfortunately fell short. I spoke directly to his representatives who asked me exactly that question. I conveyed it to them, and I conveyed it for 20 years to the head coach. There's no confusion with regard to what the expectations are, and I think they're realistic. They're reasonable, they're attainable, they're expected, they're resourced. I can't make it any clearer. With an experienced Navy team that's going to be returning 22 starters next season, Niumatalolo said that he has to finish the remaining year on his contract. And if we lose next year, don't worry about firing me. I'll resign. You don't have to pay me a cent. I'm not looking for a raise. I'm not looking for anything. I just want to finish my contract. We're finally coming out of the pandemic. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed. I thought we stood for something different. I'm a competitor. It's hard for me to think that we got the ball on the 6-inch line and that's my last game. That's hard to fathom. If we win, he's not firing me. How do you fire a guy after you win the Army-Navy game? That's not gonna happen. So yeah, this is an unfortunate situation for Niumatalolo, as he honestly one of the better coaches in the country for the last 15 years. I get the Navy has struggled over the last few seasons, but I just don't see why they fired him unless there's really something more to the story. Moving on to a different coaching change is Jackson State, as they found their new head coach. T.C. Taylor has been named the 22nd head coach for the Tigers. Taylor was recommended by Deion Sanders as being the next Jackson State coach following his departure. Taylor's been coaching at Jackson State since 2019. He's coached both tight ends and wide receivers and was named an offensive coordinator in 2021. Jackson State President Thomas Hudson said this about the hiring. Coach Taylor's experience working with our student athletes, along with his dedication to support and enhance his alma mater, are exactly what Jackson State University needs to continue to elevate the athletic prowess of our football program. I look forward to working with him as he continues to build on tradition and blaze new trails. Taylor played quarterback and wide receiver at Jackson State from 1998 through 2001. He started off as a quarterback for 2.5 seasons before he switched over to wide receiver. In just 19 games as a receiver, he caught 188 passes for 1,800 yards. As a senior, he broke the Jackson State single-season record with 84 receptions, 1,200 yards, and 11 touchdowns. He was the runner-up for the 2001 Connor Lee Trophy presented to Mississippi's top college football player, finishing behind Eli Manning. We have one final coaching move, as Purdue named former Illinois defensive coordinator Ryan Walters as their new head coach. Walters has spent the past 2 seasons at Illinois and was a finalist for the Broyles Award, which goes to the nation's top assistant coach. He replaces Jeff Brom, who left last week to become the head coach at Louisville. Under Walters, Illinois' defense rose to number 1 in several key statistical categories this season, and finished the regular season first in fewest points allowed and second in fewest yards allowed. Here's what Purdue Athletic Director Mike Babinski said in a statement. From an early point in the search process, Coach Walters stood out because of the energy, passion, and intelligence he displayed as a defensive coordinator in both the Big Ten and the Southeastern Conference. His meteoric rise in the coaching profession is a large part due to his unique ability to connect with his student athletes as both a coach and mentor. With that in mind, we look forward to the culture and atmosphere of success he and his staff will instill in and around our football program, and we see him as a perfect fit for our university and this community. Walters began his coaching career at Colorado before making stops at Arizona, Oklahoma, North Texas, Memphis, and Missouri, where he served as a defensive coordinator from 2016 through 2020. He was the defensive coordinator at Illinois for the past 2 seasons. Well, that wraps it up for today's episode of 4th and 10. What are your thoughts on Arch Manning committing to Texas? Do you think it was the right call, or would you have liked to see him transfer somewhere else, seeing he'd be a starting quarterback next year? Plus, what are your thoughts on the latest coaching moves? Whatever they are, let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.